Skyrim is a land shrouded in mystery and draped in legend, and has stood the test of time as one of the most returned to worlds for the modding community. But today, we aim to remaster and reshape Skyrim's world, combat and graphics in order to fully embrace the Nordic Viking theme it originally inhabited upon release. In this video, I will go through a selection of incredible Nordic themed mods in order to breathe new life into this immersive realm that will reinvigorate the way you experience this 12-year-old game. So without further ado, welcome to transforming Skyrim into a Nordic Viking experience worthy of a 2023 release. I'd like to give a massive thanks to Call of Dragons for sponsoring this video. Call of Dragons is an MMO fantasy conquest game developed by the creators of Rise of Kingdoms. The same developer that made Rise of Kingdoms has been working on this game for more than 3 years. Call of Dragons merges strategy and MMORPG, immersing players in a limitless fantasy realm where they will recruit mythical heroes like elven maidens, mighty orcs, and formidable frost mages, amongst many others. There are 8 behemoths and 8 unique raid instances. Master each behemoth's attack pattern to withstand their devastating force and fight back to emerge victorious. Beating a behemoth doesn't just mean huge rewards. A defeated behemoth will join your alliance and fight alongside you, becoming your secret weapon in battle against other alliances. To the world, your behemoth is a terrifying weapon of war, but to your alliance, he's a much-loved companion. Tame your behemoths and work together with your allies to train them. Download Call of Dragons today using my link in the description or by simply scanning the QR code. You can also use the exclusive code CODMONSTER to gain access to unique in-game rewards. Again, a huge thanks to Call of Dragons for supporting the channel, but without further ado, let's get into the video. To begin our transformation, we'll of course start with overhauling Skyrim's visual style to embrace its Scandinavian roots. And in order to achieve this, I've been lucky enough to be able to introduce you to a brand new work in progress ENB that is set to release in the near future. Ragnyngar ENB plus NAT Weathers is a new release by JP Steele, which will inherit a cold but beautiful feeling to this northern realm, equipping it with not only a somewhat bleak but bright colour palette, but all the next gen bells and whistles you would hope to see in a new ENB, and overall is just a fantastic tonal overhaul to Skyrim's base lighting system, which will work as the foundation in which many of the upcoming mods will aim to encompass. And we'll begin those mods by focusing on both the grasses and overall flora of Skyrim's many regions. First is Skoglendi Grasses. Made again by JP Steele, this mod is intended to be used alongside the Ragnyngar ENB in order to make up the main visual elements that this video will encompass. And of course, its main selling point is the large seas of wavering green grass. Additionally, the mod also affects the autumn shaded rift, the mountainous reach, and of course Skyrim's folk-wreath forests in which many of its wildlife resides. Now we move on to the tree mod we're going to use alongside our lighting and grasses. And for this video I'm using Wigfrid's tree replacer, which aims to overhaul pretty much every single type of tree in the game, in keeping generally to their vanilla style but elevating them to not only be graphically superior, but also more realistic and diverse across the many different regions you'll explore. And with this mod, alongside the new grasses and lighting, on their own, they already pretty much completely transformed Skyrim's land into a world even more Nordic than it originally was. However, that's not the last of our visual mods. I'm using the Skyland texture pack to work as a base overhaul for many of these additional changes. Next, I've included the Great Portal of Dragonsreach, Nordic carving wall baskets for more ornaments, Redbags Dragonsreach to Norsify Whiterun's Grand Palace, and JP Steele's small Nordic tent replacer for all the camps across the province. Additionally, Flying Crows is a mod which implements flocks of crows circling various atmospheric locations in order to offer a darker and more engaging tone. And finally, of course, is DK's Nordic ships to transform them into their new Nordic style. And with all of those mods, you now have a visually fresh looking and feeling Nordic world to explore. But next, we need to focus on the second most important aspect of this video. The first and main mod I have added to overhaul Skyrim's combat is MCO's Nordic Animation Pack, which aims to add a comprehensive new animation moveset to every single type of weapon in a Northern Viking style. This ranges, of course, from your one-handed axes to your two-handed weapons such as the Battle Axe, which now has a powerful and heavy swing. Greatswords are similar but far faster in their slicing attacks, while as expected, daggers utilize a flurry of quick-paced slashes, while the slower but still relatively quick one-handed sword cuts large swipes across your enemy's body, and one-handed maces are similar but far slower, and there are even new animations for dual-wielding weapons in case you wanted to tackle combat from a more berserker barbarian stance. Next is Valhalla Combat, a mod which overhauls the entire combat system for yourself and enemies, mainly focusing on stamina management, where every type of action in combat will now consume some amount of stamina. Other standout features are projectile parrying, which can be performed if you perfectly block a projectile and you can shoot it right back at the caster. Additionally, every enemy now has a stun meter which you can wear down over time, and once depleted, will stagger them and leave them vulnerable to mass damage. Valhalla Combat is an all-in-one mod that does so much to fix and add new mechanics to Skyrim's combat that I highly recommend using it, especially alongside the new attack animations we just included. And with those two mods alone, you've already completely changed the way you engage in combat in Skyrim. But now we have a new combat system, we will need some weapons to actually use throughout your playthrough. Each weapon has its own set of unique and individual characteristics relevant to its purpose, providing you with a variety of different ways to approach combat throughout a Viking-styled playthrough. The first mod is called the Viking Weapon Pack, which includes 4 completely different types of weapon, giving you the chance to experience 4 styles of combat. Up first we have Jod's Axe, which has a sturdy Nordic etched blade. Then we have the Sword of Whiterun with its detailed golden grip. The Brass Mace is a heavy-duty weapon with its large devastating head. Lastly, we have the Blackwater Blade, which is marked with Viking runestones towards the grip. Now we'll take a look at Viking Weaponry. The mod author has created replicas of some of the weapons and shield used throughout the TV series Vikings. As a fan of the Viking series myself, I can safely say they have been very accurately made and can definitely provide a fun combat experience. Floki's Axe is a tool that was used by woodworkers and is a perfect fit for Floki. Next we have Lagertha's Sword, with its worn blade. The Lothbrok Axe has a leather covered handle providing extra grip, and finally Lagertha's Shield comes in a heavy or light option providing the ultimate defense. Following up is historically accurate weapons and Viking gear. This mod provides a massive range of weapons and shields, giving you a huge variety to choose from. As this mod is so big, we've chosen our top 4 favourites to show you. The shields have been delicately crafted to resemble those from the Viking era with their vibrant colours and patterns. The first of our favourites from this pack is the Flambard. Then we have the Kindjarl Dagger, perfect for a stealthy, silent end. The Zweihander is very unique looking with its intricate crossguard and its interesting blade. Lastly, we have the Viking Axe with its patterned Nordic handle and razor sharp edge. Now we have some singular weapon mods coming up, starting with Wolfnir. I really love this one-handed sword because of its machete-like blade, which is etched with classy Viking runes. These runes glow and add nice visual effects. The crossguard and pommel are made of hard metal, making it a sturdy one-handed weapon of choice. Our final 2 weapon mods are the Axe of Nordic Kings and the Viking Axe. These weapons are similar colours but are completely separate mods. The Viking Axe has a black and gold complex Nordic pattern running across the blade, with a strongly made solid wooden handle. On the other hand, the Axe of Nordic Kings has a double-sided blade. It also has a diamond pattern grip, helping to provide a controlled but hefty blow to an enemy. To really enable a true Nordic feel to your Skyrim game, we need, well, more Nords of course. The mod A More Nordic Skyrim really helps to ensure that by changing a large number of other races of NPCs to Nords, completely changing their overall appearance. This mod works on both male and female NPCs, and you really can see the drastic changes this mod makes. It also adds new beards to male Nords, creating a more Viking feel. Overall, this mod is a pretty cool idea if you just want more Nords in Skyrim, although it does pretty drastically alter the diversity of NPCs you'll encounter, so it may be a little boring for some people. And buyer beware, it's probably going to be highly incompatible with a lot of other mods, so feel free to use at your own risk. Up next is a mod called The Old Ways, Nordic Religion. This mod concentrates on the religious aspects of Skyrim, transforming many shrines from those of the Daedric princes to shrines of the Nordic gods, as well as completely different shrine statues, giving you the real feel of a Viking environment within your game. Additionally, The Old Ways also adds new totems that can be worn, granting different attributes from different Nordic gods. These totems have different colour variations depending on the god, and also have different enchantment colour effects. They have etched Nordic patterns, resembling the religious side of the Viking era, and is a very interesting mod which adds a small but great idea to your Skyrim world. I'm sure many of you have heard of this next mod, but I just couldn't leave it out as I felt like it was very fitting for the topic of this video. Bears of the North is a mod which changes the original vanilla bears of Skyrim to larger, more ferocious beasts who are capable of decapitating any lost traveller. The bear models have always been really cool, and I honestly recommend this mod. Now we have a mod which is quite handy to have and is fitting for this style of playthrough. Lockpicking for Barbarians enables you to be able to smash open locked chests with a power attack from any two-handed weapon. As Vikings were very smashy and killy, I think, this way of opening chests fits very well. It will work on any chest, but depending on your two-handed level and stamina level will determine what difficulty of chest you can smash open. If your level is too low, then you may end up with a very angry Viking character.
Gods be praised.
Oh no. What would a Viking playthrough be if it wasn't for a bit of Nordic cooking? This mod adds a variety of new foods and drinks to the kitchens of Skyrim. Eating and drinking them will grant you different buffs dependent on the item. These items can be crafted at any available cooking station. From Nordic roasted goat to Nordic salads, you can access many new consumables dependent on your personal taste. All in all, although these mods might be minor, I think they add a great deal to a Viking-themed game. From more Nords to giant carnivorous bears, each of these mods has its rightfully earned place in my mod list and fits seamlessly into this video. Now we have the armor section of the video, which is obviously a very important part of a Viking playthrough. Here we'll be taking a look at some of our favourite armors and shields which we thought fit a Norse or Viking playthrough the best, and all provide their own unique aspects and in my opinion are very visually appealing. First up is a shield mod called Nordic Round Shields. This mod adds many variations of shield patterns to your game, allowing you to really embrace the Viking era. Each shield has its own distinctive Nordic style and colours, and the mod also allows access to heavy or light options. Now we have the Northern God Armour, which in my opinion gives off a kind of steel-plated Viking knight vibe, with its detailed metal chestplate, the fur pelt on the shoulders and the heavy-duty helmet similar to that of a medieval knight of sorts. Up next is Sons of Skyrim. This mod overhauls armours and shields of each city throughout your Skyrim game. These cities include Solitude, Markarth, Falkreath, Winterhold, Windhelm, Whiterun, Morthul, and Riften. The Windruler armor is a full metal suit with intricate patterns across the entire set. It also includes a cool Viking-looking plaited ponytail to your character. It's obviously Elden Ring inspired, but the helmet has spiraling ram horns, while the armor is rigid metal patterns providing significant levels to this armor. The Dragon Breaker armor is Berserker Barbarian themed, consisting of sharp pointed pauldrons, a Viking style horned helmet, and metal shined boots. It reminds me of kind of a lone wolf Viking who hunts down targets assigned to them, fearing no one. The Dragon Slaughterer armor, on the other hand, is an interesting mix of metal, leather, and cloth, with stylish patterns covering the majority of this set. The helmet has large ram-style horns, while the armor has a dragon head at the center. Up next is my favourite of the armours featuring in this video, and in my opinion is the most fitting for a Viking theme. This is the Northern armour set. It is a combination of metal, chainmail and an entire bear pelt with the head sat on one shoulder. Now we have the Dragon Gladiator armour set. This mod has a medieval theme which consists of a mixture between metal and studded leather. The helmet is that of a gladiator, with one of the pauldrons featuring a large lion head sitting upon one of the shoulders. The final armour we'll be showcasing is the Dragon Fighter armour. This armour looks slightly worn like that of a fighter as the name suggests. It has spiked pauldrons and the helmet also has large curvy horns similar to a few of the other armours but are of a different style. Overall, each of these mods adds something a little different to your game, and in my opinion fit the Norse style of game change perfectly. Some are more Viking than others, but I think all are worthy of a place in a Viking playthrough as they really help to capture the vision of what we're trying to achieve in this video. Now to finish off this huge Nordic game change, we'll be looking at a selection of location mods to truly finalise your playthrough with a Nordic spirit. And to begin, I of course need to mention the Cities of the North series and Northern Roads, which many of you are likely pretty familiar with, however there is no way I could do a Viking game change without mentioning these mods. Falkreath, Morthal and Dawnstar have been completely redesigned in order to reflect a more traditional Viking Nordic undertone, while Northern Roads aims to overhaul all of Skyrim's roadway and roadside points of interest in order to achieve the same effect. And by using all four of these mods together, you go a huge way in completely transforming much of Skyrim's towns and connecting roads in a way which feels like a completely new game. But one problem that I've always found when using Cities of the North is the inconsistency from, well, the rest of Skyrim, which still had traditional vanilla wooden buildings. Well, finally, I'm glad to report that this issue is no longer a problem thanks to the wonderful Northern Farmhouses mod, which, as you might guess, replaces all of the basic traditional Skyrim buildings with those more akin to the style of Cities of the North. And this truly transformed the world of Skyrim, keeping in line with the visual tone of the directly affected cities, and is honestly a game changer in finally having a complete theme across your entire world. Additionally, I'm also using a small but really cool mod that overhauls the Windhelm Bridge to, in my opinion, add a more northern feel, more in line kind of with the architecture in Cities of the North, and is honestly one of my favourite little mods that I try to work into every playthrough I can, as it actually makes me enjoy Windhelm, which might be the biggest feat any mod has ever achieved. But jokes aside, there is one last mod that we're going to add to further enhance Skyrim's locations in a Nordic fashion, and that is Nordic runestones, which, as you might guess, adds various runestones around Skyrim's world in order for the player to locate, and is really just a nice visual addition to stumble upon your journeys. And with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you've enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and comment down below. We should have a few more cool videos coming out in the time between now and Starfield, so stay tuned. But finally, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.